Dating advice for men. Dating advice on how to be a better man, attract the women you deserve, have a spectacular relationship and get more from life. By Levi King. Introduction. The ultimate purpose of a man's life. What's the meaning of life? What's the point of it all? Might have asked yourself this question a few times in your life. And even if you might have found a possible answer to that question, it just leaves you with even more questions. Is a man's life all about women? If it were, then why are so many single men monks, priests, and voluntary celibates some of the happiest men in the world? And why are so many married men some of the most miserable men in the world? Maybe it's not women. Maybe a man's life is all about success? So many men today are trapped in endless pursuits of success. And when they do achieve success, they find out it's not all it's cracked up to be. Some extremely successful men are so unfulfilled they end up killing themselves. So maybe it's not success either. Maybe a man's life is all about happiness? A mountain of scientific study has shown that the more you pursue happiness, the more miserable you become. It's all because of a fact that's supposed to be obvious from the beginning, that no matter how happy you are, you can always be happier if you do this, or if you own this, or if you achieve this. It's a game that never ends. So what is a man's life all about? To get the most basic answer of all, one that all of us can agree on, we'll need to go back to our biology. Biologically, we're driven to do only two things. 1. To survive, and 2. To replicate. Survival requires a mastery of the martial arts, the art of war. And as history has shown, wars aren't won by force, they're won by preparation. Meanwhile, replication requires a mastery of the Venusian arts, the art of love. And to win the game of love, it's not enough to be a good person. You'll also need good game and discipline. Notice something? Our two biological thrusts conflict with each other. To survive, we need to know how to defend ourselves from others. To replicate, we need to know how to align ourselves with others, namely, women. Our biological impulses create a conflict within us. No wonder so many men today are confused. The key out of this confusion is to first realize that life isn't an either-or proposition. It's an and proposition. You need to master both survival and replication. And as a direct result, you'll master women, and you'll master life itself. That's what a man's life is all about. It's the only equation that leads to true and lasting meaning, the kind that leaves a mark on the earth long after we're gone. This book is meant to give you the simplest, most straightforward way to find the meaning of a man's life. For simplicity's sake, mastery of survival and replication requires mastery of 4 basic areas. 1. Mastering yourself and the life you lead. 2. Mastering women completely. 3. Mastering the game of love. And 4. Mastering your family and household. I won't kid you. It will be tough. But I'm sure you'll agree it's better than never finding the meaning of your life, and it's better than making up a meaning for yourself, all the while knowing in the back of your mind you're bullshitting yourself. It's time you killed the confusion, the self-loathing, and the politically correct brainwashing. It's time to be a man. Part 1. Becoming a better man. Chapter 1. Masculine versus feminine energy. The first step to becoming a man is to realize you're one. Most guys today have bought into the lie that there's no difference between men and women, that they're equal in every conceivable way. Let me tell you why that's bullshit. The basic math of civilization has always been this: 1. Men protect women and protect children. 2. Women civilize men and raise children. Take any one of those roles away, and civilization collapses. 1. If men don't protect women, crimes against women and children shoot through the roof. 2. If women don't civilize men, broken and single-parent families would be the norm, and civilization would collapse in 2 or 3 generations. Here's the problem: that basic math of civilization is in grave danger today. There's the pervasive lie about men and women being equals. There's the pervasive lie that anything traditionally masculine is toxic. As a result, the overwhelming message men get from society is this: we don't need you. Now, it's easy to think, well, at least women today are happier and more empowered. Are they really? If you talk to enough women, you'll notice something they all have in common: they're desperately looking for real men. Some have gotten so desperate that, in a bid to stay sane, they've given up entirely. Hardly happy and empowered, if you ask me. Want to save women? Want to save the world? Start with you. What being a real man is about: a real man is, in the simplest terms, a man who's brimming with masculine energy. And masculine energy is not submissive. It doesn't tolerate bullshit. It's aligned with everything that's fundamentally good and meaningful in life. It takes charge. It dominates. It keeps the fabric of society together, no matter what that same society might say about it. Do you have masculine energy? Let's imagine you were watching TV, watching your favorite sports team playing live. Then imagine your girlfriend, a woman you like very much, walks in and says she wants to watch something else, like Grey's Anatomy. What do? A. Be a gentleman, switch to Grey's Anatomy, and watch whiny doctors with her. B. Give her the remote and leave to do something else. C. Tell her to wait until your game's done if you picked A or B. Then on the surface, your woman might think you're a sweet gentleman. But deep inside, she sees weakness. And deep inside, she hates that. No woman wants a weak man, no matter how gentlemanly he might be. Why not? Because if you're weak, she can't respect you. If she can't respect you, she can't feel attracted to you. And if she can't feel attracted to you, she can't love you. And so she breaks up with you, or she leaves you for a stronger guy, even if that new guy is not a gentleman, or she henpecks you to death. This is the reason why so many nice guys never get the girls. And if you're not as successful with women, and in life, as you'd like to be now, you know why. Let's fix that. Masculine energy is key to sexual attraction. In his book, The Way of the Superior Man, spiritual teacher David Deida describes sexual attraction as a force of passion that arcs between masculine and feminine poles, and all natural forces flow between these poles. The stronger the masculine energy, and the stronger the feminine energy, the stronger the sexual attraction between them. You only have control over one half of that equation, your masculine energy. Here's the thing: you may never hear women express their attraction to masculine energy. Instead, you might hear them say they're looking for kind, understanding, loyal gentlemen. Which we now know is just a lie they tell themselves and others. But who do they really feel attracted to? Without a doubt, it's strong, dominant, purpose-driven men. You are to be that man. You've just taken the first step towards becoming that man by knowing the difference between men and women. What's the second step? It's to know the differences among you and other men. That's up next. Chapter 2. Beta males versus alpha males. What are the differences between you and other men? Let's start with the most basic and most glaring difference of all. I call it glaring because it's the first thing women consider when they evaluate you as a man. And that's whether you're an alpha male or a beta male. An alpha male is, more than anything else, a leader. First, he's a leader of his own self. Then, he's a leader of others. Being a leader of your own self means having a purpose in life. This is incredibly important, so important that this book has 3 whole chapters on finding, living, and nurturing your purpose. For now, let's talk about what you should not be. Are you a beta male and don't know it? Be fair to yourself and honestly check how many of the following traits you have. You're a people pleaser. You love to please, and you hate to be hated. You dread and avoid stressful situations. You have generally low confidence. You use morality, kindness, and virtue as an excuse to avoid taking risks. You keep second-guessing your direction in life. You change your mind to match the opinions of other people, especially women you like. You virtue signal, or more specifically, you criticize masculinity and its manifestations in order to get other people to like you. The more of the above-listed traits you have, the more of a beta male you are, the more women dislike you and the more work you'll need to do. Fortunately, this is a problem that can be solved. It all starts with the first requisite of being an alpha male: being a leader of your own self. And being a leader of your own self starts with finding your purpose in life, a grand mission that will fill you up and drive you forward no matter what's in your way. Let's find your purpose in the next chapter. Chapter 3. Finding your purpose. Little boys and girls develop a sense of purpose early in their lives. Boys run around simulating sword fights, gunfights, and playing cops and robbers with other boys. They play games where they're the hero. In other words, boys are attuned to the martial arts, the arts of war. We're attuned to the search for freedom and the overcoming of competition. It's what makes us men. Girls play, too, but the boys' mad search for excitement bewilders them. They're more content playing with dolls and pretending to raise a home. In other words, girls are attuned to the Venusian arts, the arts of love and nurturing. That's what they want. And it's not what you should want, despite what the feminists say. So if you don't know your purpose in life, let's find it right now. What your purpose should not be. First of all, your purpose in life is not to get a woman. Let's get that straight from the beginning. Your purpose must be bigger than women. Why? Firstly, because having women as your sole purpose in life is pathetic. It means that in your mind, women are better than you. Like they're a prize to be won and they're not. Second, women hate it. If getting a woman is your purpose in life, then you'll do anything to get a woman, and women will see you as an extremely weak guy. And you now know how much they hate weak men. Read this carefully. It's a woman's deepest need to attach herself to men of clear, unbreakable purpose. We'll talk about this need in a later chapter, but as early as now, know this: a woman can only enter her supportive, nurturing state of mind where she truly comes alive when your purpose in life is bigger than her. And that's why beta males have it so hard with women. Beta males have no purpose in life, and so they make women their purpose. And so their relationships don't work out unless they settle. Don't trap yourself like that. Rise above it. Your purpose in life must be bigger than women, bigger than sex, and bigger than marriage. So how do you find it? Here's how. How to find your purpose in life. Ask yourself this question: if money weren't an issue in your life, and you didn't need to go to work, what would you be doing? Do this exercise now. Get a sheet of paper or open a blank document on your PC. Write down all the different things you'd want to do in your life if money weren't an issue. The more detailed your answers are, the better. You can write what your ideal day would be like if money weren't an issue. Write down how you'd feel. Write what a typical month or year would look like for you. Write how you'd wake up in the morning and go to bed at night. Take as much time as you need. Once you're done, it's time to engineer your ideal life into reality. Take a look at the things you listed down. Then ask yourself, how can I do these things and make lots of money in the process? That's how you find your purpose. You find your purpose where your talents and interests intersect with solving a problem or filling a need in the world and getting paid well in the process. My purpose, if you'd like an example, let's use my own life. For me, what truly drives me is freedom. Freedom for myself and my family. Freedom of time to do whatever I want. Freedom of finances so I don't need to work unless I really want to. Freedom from someone else dictating my schedule. Freedom to train and practice martial arts anywhere in the world. Freedom to teach others how to find their own purpose in life. I engineered my purpose into reality in various ways, getting out of the corporate world and working from home, starting my own businesses and investment portfolio, giving up my old vices, alcohol, womanizing, arguing on social media, etc. Never giving up on my purpose no matter how hard things got. Now it's your turn. Your purpose. You might find your purpose in life today, after doing the exercise above. Or you might find it gradually, over the next several months or years, as you do the exercise over and over. That's okay. The mere act of trying to find your purpose purifies you. It gets rid of the junk in your life. It opens your eyes to your true potential. It strengthens your masculine energy. When you know your purpose in life, and when you're living in complete alignment with it, it's a different world. Every victory at work, and every moment of intimacy with women, is magnified 1,000 times. You know, from balls to bones, that you're exactly where you're meant to be and doing exactly what you're meant to do. But if you're disconnected from your purpose, you'll remain weak. You'll feel empty, unfulfilled, and impotent. You won't be able to penetrate the world, and you sure as hell won't be penetrating any women anytime soon. Don't trap yourself like that. Find your purpose. Start now. Chapter 4. Living your purpose. Do not pretend to be more enlightened than you are. David Data. Here's one of the biggest roadblocks to finding and living your purpose in life: an unhealthy relationship with fear. Fear is a constant. It's a defense mechanism hardwired into our brains over the last 200,000 years. So you can't get rid of it, like some gurus might say. You can only have a healthy relationship with it. There are 3 different kinds of relationships you can have with fear, and only one of them is healthy. But let's start with the first and worst kind of relationship: avoidance. This is where you're actually afraid of being afraid. So you avoid people, things, and situations where you risk feeling afraid. You avoid pursuing your ideal job. You avoid building a business around your passion. You avoid pursuing the girl of your dreams. As a result, you end up leading an extremely boring life, and women won't feel attracted to you. The second and only marginally better kind of relationship you can have with fear is hostility. This is where you actually run towards fear. You're so tired of being held back by fear that you charge forward with reckless aggression. You start that business without having a plan. You quit your job at the slightest disagreement with your boss. You invest all your money in a go big or go home scheme. You marry the first woman to show affection towards you. Hostility is slightly better than avoidance, but it's still an unhealthy relationship with fear. It robs you of prudence, which puts you and the people counting on you at great risk. So that leaves us with the third and only healthy relationship with fear you can have: friendship. In the 200,000 years humans have walked the earth, fear has served only one purpose: to keep us alive. Isn't that something only a true friend would do? The goal, then, is to relax into fearlessness. You treat fear as a friend. You acknowledge that it's only there to keep you safe, but it's not there to hold you back. So as a result, instead of avoiding what you're afraid of, you approach it prudently, and you get stronger as you live your purpose and do the right thing. Instead of just reaching your limits, you lean over the edge and you grow as a result. Instead of shrinking from discomfort, you learn to embrace it, and your masculine energy grows more and more powerful. Keep this in mind: just as a muscle only grows when pushed past its limits, masculine energy only grows when subjected to adversity. My personal relationship with fear. In case I haven't mentioned it before, I grew up in the bad part of London. There was gang violence, knife crimes, drugs, all that bad stuff. I got held up several times in my childhood. One time, a gang cornered me and threatened to stab me if I didn't give up my phone. If the police hadn't rounded the corner that moment, I might not be writing this book right now. But that was the last straw for me. I wanted to defend myself. That's when my lifelong love affair with martial arts was born. It started with judo and taekwondo. Then I moved to strength training and got jacked. Then I moved on to boxing, Muay Thai, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I felt awesome, but I didn't know why at the time. Now I do. I felt awesome because I was constantly pushing myself to the edge of my abilities, and constantly looking over that edge. I felt awesome because I was growing. So learn this lesson as early as now: the only way to be happy in this life is to be constantly growing and making progress. Your goals will make you happy for a while. But growth and progress will make you happy for life. Are you growing enough? Are you making enough progress? Fast forward to today. I've learned that the better I got at martial arts, the smaller the need to defend myself became. People stopped messing with me. The things that used to scare the shit out of me as a child no longer bothered me. I felt like there was no problem in the world I couldn't solve. And all it took me was to treat my fear as a friend. I didn't avoid it, and I didn't rush blindly against it. Instead, I let it guide me into making one good decision after another. And it's made all the difference in my life. Now it's your turn. What's your relationship with fear like? If you don't know, then do the quick exercise below. Do you tend to shut down and or run away when pain, stress, or discomfort comes your way? If you do, then you're robbing yourself of adversity and the opportunity to grow your masculine energy. Learn to embrace the pain. Do you procrastinate improving yourself? Do you know you need to exercise, or improve your finances, or learn a new skill but you're waiting until you're not so busy anymore? If so, then spend an hour a day doing it, whether you like it or not. If you don't have an hour, you don't have a life. Do you use your family as an excuse to not pursue your purpose? If you find yourself saying, "If I weren't tied down, I'd do it," or "When my kids are older, I'll do it," then take a cue from Leonidas in the movie 300. One night he makes passionate love to his wife and the next morning, he fulfills his purpose by marching to war. You can do both. Here's another crucial element to living your purpose: living in the present moment. Are you stuck in your past? Do you miss the good times in the past? Or do you keep reliving the bad times? Or do you keep running away from it? Or are you stuck in your future? Do you keep telling yourself things like, "One day it'll all get better"? If you said yes to any of the questions above, then here's the cold, hard reality: you're stuck. You're not growing as a man should. And you need to change that fast. I remember one of my ex-girlfriends. She was hot and sophisticated, pretty much everything you could ask for in a girlfriend. Except when I visited her home for the first time and found it an absolute mess. Clothes on the floor, unwashed pots and pans in the sink, dust on the furniture. It was gross. But she was hot. So I told myself, well, one day it'll all be better. I'll just teach her how to keep a house clean. So, for several months, I tried to teach her, but it didn't work. It was like trying to teach a pig to fly. It was agonizingly frustrating. Looking back, I realized that I should have simply gone with the most obvious solution: to leave her. I knew I had the standard to only date women who got their lives together, and she obviously wasn't that, but by living in the future, I wasted several months of my life. What about you? Are you not living in the present? Is there anything in your life that's under your control, but still keeping you stuck? Maybe it's a job you hate. Or a woman who's controlling you. Or an obligation you willingly took on, but didn't have to, and now it's driving you nuts. What can you let go of so you can live your purpose? Write them down and make your exit plan now. Chapter 5. Nurturing your purpose. What happens to you when you're criticized? Do you feel hurt? Do you get defensive? Do you feel the urge to shoot back? Or do you otherwise act like a woman would act when she got criticized? If you can relate to any of the reactions listed above, here's what it means. 1. You're an approval seeker and you may not know it. 2. And you don't have a good relationship with masculine energy. And those are two problems you need to fix urgently. The fastest way to kill your approval addiction and have a good relationship with masculine energy is this: to simply spend time in the company of other men, preferably those whose masculine energy you'd like to rub off on you. Find groups of men who are manly, who won't tolerate mediocrity, and who will call you out if you're being a wussy. Do not look for groups of men who will sympathize with you in your struggles. Women need sympathy. Men need solutions. So find men who will get you unstuck and growing again. Recently, one of my friends came to me with a question. It's Keisha, man. We're hot for each other and I want to bang her so much. But I don't want to hurt my girlfriend and I'm worried she'll find out. He was lucky our group didn't support or sympathize with its members' struggles. I told him, come on, bro, you've been talking about Keisha for months. Stop wasting your time and get it over with. Either bang her or move on with your life. Now, I don't condone cheating. But I don't condone men whining like women either. And between those two evils, cheating is the far lesser one. But my admonishing did the trick. My friend sacked up and said, "You're right, man. I'll forget about it. I don't want to mess up what I got at home anyway." Want to nurture your purpose in life? Then spend time in the company of men who will challenge your mediocrity, who are brutally honest with you, and who inspire you to grow. Find such groups now. Part 2. Understanding women completely. Chapter 6. What women really want. How many healthy and successful relationships do you see out there? In the UK, 40% of marriages end in divorce. In the US, it's even worse, 50% of marriages don't last till death do they part. Worst of all, these staggering statistics don't even count the toxic relationships between couples who stay together for the kids or simply because they can't afford the divorce costs. Why are so many relationships so unhealthy and unsuccessful? 2 reasons. First, the world suffers from a lack of real men. Fathers and husbands aren't showing up. They're not taking responsibility. And their kids grow up not knowing what it takes to lead a happy, successful relationship, and so the cycle infects their generation, too. Now, if you did all the exercises in part 1 of this book, then this reason shouldn't be a problem for you. You're on your way to becoming a real man, and as long as you stay on the rails, you'll do fine. It's the second reason you'll need to worry about now. The second reason why so many relationships are not working out is this: men don't know what women want. What do women want? If you get your knowledge about women from mass media or from what they say they want or what your friends say about women, then you're in a bit of trouble. First things first, never take advice about women from women. Have you ever experienced this? A woman says she wants a kind, loyal, hardworking gentleman, but she ends up dating an abusive deadbeat. Or a woman gives you her number, but she never calls. Or a woman acts coldly towards you, so you stop giving her attention only to receive angry texts about why you're ignoring her. Learn the lesson if you haven't yet: women never say what they want. At least they can never articulate it truthfully and honestly. This is not necessarily done maliciously. My question to you is, how many times have you heard a woman say that she wants a kind gentleman who wines and dines her, only to find that she ends up with the complete opposite? Women have an idea of what they think they want, but what they are actually attracted to is a different thing entirely. As you'll learn later in this book, women might nudge you in the direction they want you to take them. But never take dating advice from them. Do all women lie? Being direct, keeping it 100, your word of honor, these are all masculine concepts. Women follow different rules. For women, feelings are more reliable than facts. Now, that's not saying they don't speak logically. They can, and when they're in a positive state of mind, they often do. But when they're upset or emotional, facts fly out the window, and the only thing they trust are their own feelings. Here's an example. Once, I told an ex-girlfriend I was taking her out to get some Chinese food. She told me, "No, I don't like Chinese food." I then took her hand, twirled her, and basically did a silly, awkward dance with her that got her laughing. After we caught our breaths, I said, "Let's go get some sweet and sour prawn balls." Sure enough, she said, "Sure." And we had some pretty good prawn balls. Did she lie to me when she said she didn't like Chinese food? Of course not. She was just following her truth at that moment, her feelings. It's subjective and not objective, but that's women for you. So here's the basic rule: unless she's happy, with love burning at her core, don't take whatever she says literally. Instead, follow your gut and trust your own judgment. Speaking of following your gut, never listen to your friends' dating advice. Getting dating advice from your friends is not a good idea either. Why not? Because your friends will tell you what they think is best for you. They won't necessarily tell you what works. So as a basic rule, only get advice from friends whose relationships you want yours to be like. Otherwise, thank them for their advice but trust your gut. So what do women really want? Now that you know where not to get dating advice from, what's the answer to our burning question? What do women really want? To get a reliable answer, you once again turn to science. Over the past 100+ years, psychology has found that women have 3 basic needs in life: 1. To feel psychologically secure; 2. To feel physically protected; 3. And to feel materially provided for. This is the basic math to making a woman happy for life. Make her feel all 3, and she'll love you forever. Miss even just one, and she'll only see you as one of her many options, and likely not the best one at that. Let's take a deeper look at each basic need in turn. Female need number 1, to feel psychologically secure. A woman needs peace of mind. She needs to know she can trust you completely. Only then can she mentally relax and be totally herself, without the need to protect her reputation or keep up appearances. In other words, she needs to be led by strong, purpose-driven, dominant guy, someone whose passions are under his total control. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of male-female equality in the corporate world and the academe. But I'm not a fan of forced equality, such as the kind brought about by third-wave feminism and the branding of masculinity as toxic. In fact, it can be argued that half of marriages today end up in divorce because of progressive ideas such as these. These new ideas kill the polarity between masculine and feminine energies, and when you undermine sexual attraction, everything else comes crashing down like a row of dominoes. So what's a man to do? Simple: be a man. And here are some tried and true ways to cultivate your manhood. Never show weakness, unless you're at a funeral. And if you have to rant, don't rant to your woman, save it for your male friends. Never beg or plead. Never put a woman in charge of your destiny. Follow your mission in life and live by your deepest values. If she loves you, she follows you. Live by the mantra, it's my way or the highway. While you should never walk away from your responsibilities, you should have the strength to walk away from a woman who tries to control you. Female need number 2, to feel physically protected. This need is biologically hardwired into all healthy women in the world. Throughout our history, women have always been the physically weaker sex. They've always been preyed upon by wild animals, rival tribes, and evil men. As a result, the best situation a woman can put herself in has always been under the protection of a strong, capable man. This man should have the strength and the resources to protect her and her children. Today, of course, there's much less risk of danger to women. But remember, this is a biologically hardwired need. Women still need to see that killer in you. You can show this killer instinct either by fiercely protecting your family against the dangers of society or by ravishing your woman in bed, or both. In other words, it's not enough to be big and strong, you'll also need to hold an erection long enough and give her one climax after another. Female need number 3, to feel materially provided for. Are all women gold diggers? At some level, sure. But not all women are evil gold diggers, who are only in it for the money. Instead, it's yet another biological and practical need. Biologically, I don't think any woman wants to marry a deadbeat guy. If she uses your money to raise your kids, then that's a good thing. If she uses your money only on herself, then that's a bad thing. So my advice: find a way to earn much more than your family needs, but stay in charge of your finances. Don't let your woman control your money, that's just asking for trouble. So there you have it, a woman's 3 deepest needs. How ready are you to meet each need? How much work do you need to do? Write it down, make a plan, and make it happen. Chapter 7. How women fall in love. How do men fall in love? The moment they see a sexy, perfect 10 woman, they're instantly ready to go. They're ready to date her, sleep with her, and even commit their entire lives to them. In other words, we fall in love hard and fast. Women are very different. Women fall in love more slowly. Before a woman can commit to you, she needs to trust you first. And there's a good biological and social reason for that. For a woman, picking a guy to commit to will affect her life tremendously. She's already dated hot-tempered, insecure, pushy, needy, or stalker-type men in the past. She wants to make sure you're not like any of those losers before getting into a relationship with you. So what's this guy to do? Date her, for sure. But treat each date as the great coach Corey Wayne defines it: a date is a fun-filled romantic opportunity for sex to happen. Here are 3 tips to put this bit of dating wisdom into practice. Tip number 1, do not complicate things. Coach Corey Wayne suggests you follow the 3 H's of dating: hang out, have fun, hook up. That's it. Have all 3 elements in place, and you're doing it right. Tip number 2, don't lay out all your cards. Be mysterious. Be a puzzle she needs to figure out. The more mysterious you are about your true intentions, the more attracted she'll be to you. In 2011, the University of Virginia showed a large number of college women a random set of 4 male students. Then each woman was told that some of the guys in the photos liked her a lot, some of the guys liked her a little, and some of the guys liked her either a lot or a little. In other words, they weren't sure. You know the researchers found? The women were least attracted to the guys who liked them a little. The women were more attracted to the guys who liked them a lot. The women were most attracted to the guys whose feelings they couldn't figure out. As it turns out, when a woman doesn't know whether you like her a little or a lot, she'll wonder about you more. The more she wonders, the more attracted she feels to you. So, don't lay out all your cards in the beginning. Don't rush the process and do not vomit up your feelings for her prematurely. Take her on 1 date per week, and call/chat with her no more than once a week. If you do that, and follow the other tips in this book, you should get laid by the 3rd or 4th date. You will only call a woman to ask her out on a date once per week, because this builds the anticipation. Women need to wonder about you. They need to feel the feelings of awe and wonder. When is he next going to call me? Does he really like me? As mentioned earlier, women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. You're being mysterious, indifferent, and busy with your purpose is what will raise her level of attraction to you. As the weeks go on, she will not want to wait a whole week to hear from you, and she will begin to contact you more frequently. This is where you want to be, the point where she is chasing you. All you have to do is focus on your purpose, and when she reaches out to you, always assume that she wants to see you and simply set the next date and get off the phone. The phone is for setting dates, not getting to know each other. This kills the anticipation and lowers attraction. Tip number 3, women are like cats, men are like dogs. When you push a friendly dog away, they keep coming back to you. We're like that in dating, aren't we? We're used to rejection, we just try and try again. Cats, on the other hand, come and go as they please. They don't come when called, they'll come when they want to. If you'll notice, cats tend to warm up to the person in the room who doesn't even like cats. Women are like that, too. The more you show your true feelings, the more you chase them, the less attracted they feel towards you. So take it easy. Treat her like you'd treat a cat. You'll want your relationship with her to move forward because it's her idea, because she's curious enough about you to want to know you better. Until then, hold your ground. Have so much fun stuff going on in your life that you're largely indifferent to whether women like you or not. If she is into you, great. If she is not, you're no worse off than before. That's how your mindset should be. Chapter 8. Women chase men. You might have grown up to movies about how a guy chases girl, how he wins the girl in the end, and how they live happily ever after. If that doesn't sound like your childhood, then let me spoil things for you. It never works out that way. Here's a truth: the most successful male-female courtships take on a father-daughter dynamic. Imagine a daughter sitting on her father's lap, trying to win his approval/validation, or simply seeking love and affection when she is low. The father cuddles and comforts her, his love, his affection empowers her, she feels happy again, and she runs off to play. That's the dynamic that leads to the most successful relationships. If you want a woman to love you, she must see you as a source of masculine strength, her rock, her port in the storm, her pillar of strength. And she must feel like she must win your approval, lest some other woman does first. You are the mountain and she is Mother Nature. Mother Nature may rain, hail down violent thunderstorms, or she may be a calming breeze and a ray of sunshine. However, whatever the weather, the mountain does not budge. How to make women chase you. Making women chase you goes back to having a mission and purpose in life, one that's always a higher priority in your life than women, dating, and sex. Don't go out of your way for any woman that's her job. This mindset can be tough to keep when, for instance, she calls you and asks you to meet. That's a clear indication of interest from her. And you'll feel the temptation to drop whatever you're doing to meet her. Unfortunately, the moment you go out of your way to accommodate or pursue her, she immediately realizes you like her quite a bit and that you will drop what you are doing for her. All of a sudden, the mystery is gone, and she feels attracted to you just a tad bit less. My advice? Don't spoil the ending. Don't rob her of the thrill. Give her the kind of love stories she reads about all the time in her favorite erotic novels. Yes, if she contacts you and you like her too, set up a time and place to meet up. After that, meet her once a week, and call or chat with her also once a week. Then focus on your mission in life the rest of the time. Chapter 9. The Sigma Male. This chapter is important aside to what you've learned in this book so far. In case you want to stop being a weak and boring beta male but you are neither the brash domineering top dog alpha. Perhaps you don't find yourself particularly attracted to the social hierarchy, then perhaps you may be a sigma male. Think of it as being like an introverted alpha male. You rise to the top not through strength and assertiveness but through intelligence and independence. The sigma male defies classification. He doesn't belong to any pecking order in society, and so he's not subject to the usual scrutiny and criticism. He's like a lone wolf, doing his own thing and yet making his mark on the world and on women. And that's the difference between a sigma male and a beta male. The sigma male actually gets shit done. He has a purpose and a mission, and he carries it out in his own quiet, effective way. The characteristics of a sigma male. Here are the telltale traits that set a sigma male apart from the weak, boring beta male and the strong, assertive alpha male. Independence from approval seeking. You should stop feeling like you need to prove anything, other than to your own self. When you don't need anyone's approval, no one can control you. Independence from social structure. You should avoid hierarchies unless absolutely necessary. Strive to live life on your own terms. Independence from ideology. You're open-minded about ideologies, e.g. religion and identity groups, but you question everything and resist conforming to any ideology until you're completely convinced of it. Sheer intelligence. You should want to know how the world works. You study, you learn new things, and you take up new interests all the time. If you don't love knowledge, you should. The ability to adapt. You embody Bruce Lee's philosophy of being like water. With your analytical and social skills, you can manipulate people and situations to your advantage. A preference for solitude. Being alone doesn't send you into a downward spiral. Instead, solitude recharges you and makes you stronger. Being alone is a good thing for you, it makes you happier. Self-awareness. You're your own biggest critic. You know your strengths and weaknesses inside and out and backwards. And ruthlessly pursue self-improvement no matter how slow and painful the path might be. Existing outside the rules. You may not follow the beaten path that aspiring alpha males take, yet you still get more than your fair share of women and success. A preference for silence. You know that keeping quiet is better than speaking. You keep your secrets close to your heart, and instead learn other people's secrets by listening to what they tell you. The only drawback to being a sigma male is that it can be lonely. If cultivating the traits listed above sounds too suffocating, perhaps you were meant to be an alpha male after all. But at the very least, it's good to know you can take two paths to happiness and success. Part 3, The Game, Getting the Woman You Want. Chapter 10. Your Ideal Woman. Back in school, have you ever been assigned the kind of homework where you had to write an essay about absolutely anything you like? Ever notice that kind of homework is the hardest kind of all? It's like, with every possible topic in the known universe and beyond to choose from, you just don't know how to get started. The same goes when it comes to your ideal woman. If you have no standards to the women you want to date as though you'd willingly date any woman, then you won't know how to get started or where to go. Life's too short. Don't get stuck like that. Your goal should be to be 100% clear about 1. The kind of relationship you want, and 2. The kind of woman you want. And here's a 5-step process to achieve that goal. Step number 1. Identify the kind of relationship you want. Do you want to be married with kids? Or do you want an exclusive long-term relationship, but with no kids? Or do you want to stay single and date around with as many women as you can practically handle? Or do you want something in between? You can't have it all. Choose the kind of relationship you want and stick to it. You can change your ideal kind of relationship later. But you can't do even that unless you choose one now. So take your pick. Step number 2, identify the kind of woman you want. Take a sheet of paper and fold it lengthwise. On the left column, list down all the qualities your ideal woman must have. On the right column, list down all the qualities your ideal woman must not have. In both columns, write as many qualities as you can. Be very detailed. Write about her skin color, her accent, her intelligence, her body type, her beliefs, her political skew, etc. Step number 3, pick your top 10 qualities in each column. This is where it gets fun, so be sure to do this step. Mark the 10 most important must-have qualities, as well as the 10 biggest deal-breaker qualities of the women you date. Then prioritize each list from 1 to 10, with 1 being the most important must-have or deal-breaker, and 10 being the least important. Now imagine your ideal woman exists, and you're head over heels in love with her, and your only chance to win her heart was to write a love letter. Write that love letter now. Praise the qualities you love the most about her. This step will give you a deeper appreciation for your ideal woman, which in turn will make it easier for you to find them in life. Number 4, check yourself. Do you compliment your ideal woman? Do you two go well together? Or would people look at you and think, wow, she could do a lot better? Here's the catch. You must be the kind of person you want to attract. And that means having all the good must-have qualities you listed, and having none of the deal breakers you listed. So be honest now. What must-have qualities do you not have that you need to cultivate? And what deal-breaking qualities do you have that you need to kick? Write them down now. Number 5, go live your life. By now, you'll have a clear idea of your ideal relationship and ideal woman as well as the qualities you need to cultivate or kick. Depending on what you've written down, you might decide to raise your game or lower your expectations. That's fine. The important thing is to simply go out there and start meeting new women. Most of the women you'll meet will not meet your standards. But some will, and they're the ones who will make it all worth it. Chapter 11. Where to meet women. Here's a hint, it's not in clubs and bars. Unless you're extroverted, and unless you want to stay single and date around, then clubs and bars should be the last place you'll want to meet women. Here's why, meeting your ideal kinds of women is like hunting. Let's say you're hunting elephants. You wouldn't go to the South Pole to hunt elephants, right? You'd go to where elephants roam. Likewise, you have to go where the women are. And it's all going to depend on the kind of relationship and the kind of woman you want. Let me use myself as an example. Some years ago, I was at a stage in my life where I wanted to stay single while meeting lots of different women. But I didn't want bar girls, I wanted to meet women who were both well-read and physically fit. And I found the ideal place to meet such women, bookshops. One woman that immediately comes to mind was the hottie I met while I was looking for a copy of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Great book, by the way. That's when I found her browsing in the aisle where I was. She was Caucasian, about 5 feet 6 inches, had long black hair, wearing a black New York cap and black puffer jacket. She also had one of the nicest butts I've ever seen on a white girl, perfectly wrapped in Adidas leggings. She fit my ideal woman profile to a T. I joined her at the checkout counter and struck up a conversation. I took a look at the book she had in her hands, which was something I've read and enjoyed before, and complimented her on her choice. Soon we found ourselves talking about philosophy, books, and our mutual enjoyment of exercise and training. That's when I asked, "What's your daily routine like?" "Because your thighs look like the end product of a master sculptor." She loved the compliment and she continued to talk to me all the way to the parking lot. Before we realized it, we had chatted for about 20 minutes and we hadn't even introduced ourselves yet. Yup, we clicked that well. So we introduced ourselves, I told her we should hang out sometime, and the rest was history. Moral of the story? If I spent my time at bars and clubs, I wouldn't have met her and many other women who fit my ideal woman profile perfectly. A quick note about peacocking theory. In case you've never heard of peacocking, here's what it is. Peacocking is the wearing of attention-grabbing clothes or accessories, all meant to grab women's attentions. Any guy can peacock, but not every guy can peacock and make women feel attracted to him. The key is congruence. If you peacock but your looks don't jibe with your personality, then you'll come off looking like a clown, and you'll get the exact opposite reaction from women than you wanted. Here's how congruence works. Personally, I like wearing trendy/designer glasses. They're not just for show. 1. I really do love the feel of glasses, and 2. I need glasses to read anyway, so I had a few tinted pairs specially made to look trendy and fashionable. So not only do I look cool, but my glasses invite women to know me better as a person, too. It's all congruence. Meeting women on the internet. Personally, I wouldn't recommend meeting women on the internet. I prefer meeting them face-to-face. At best, I might use the internet to meet new women, then quickly set up a face-to-face date, and then make the meetup happen. That being said, there's nothing wrong with online dating. In fact, many happy relationships start online. So if you want to give it a try, just make sure you do it right. Coach Corey Wayne suggests the following tips. Number 1. Have fun photos on your dating profiles. Choose photos that show you having fun with other people or being in interesting places. If you don't have such photos, then find a way to take selfies, ask a friend to help you, hire a photographer, etc. Number 2. Chat with women liberally. When you come across a woman who seems interesting to you, or better yet, if she likes your profile or emails you, first give her your number and ask her to call you. Sometimes she'll give you her number and ask you to call, which is fine. Number 3. Set up dates ASAP. As soon as you've chatted with a woman enough to know she's someone worth meeting, set up the date right away. You can tell her, "Hey, I think you're fun, and I love how," insert another compliment here. "We should meet up for coffee. Where are you free this week?" Number 4. Do what works for you. The key is to follow the results. If something doesn't work for you, stop doing it and try something else. If something does work for you, keep doing it and make it even better if you can. Chapter 12. Her tests and how to pass them. When meeting women, don't expect to be greeted with open arms. You'll have to understand that attractive women get approached by lots of men. And so the hotter she is, the more she'll test you. Now, when a woman tests you, she's not really insulting you. She's merely protecting her reputation. As you might imagine, any attractive woman who readily entertains every guy who approaches her tend to get seen by others as slutty. And that's a label every sane woman wants to avoid. So if you want to get on her good side, understand this need of hers. Protect her by being discreet. Don't tell her, "Let's go to my place and have sex." Instead, tell her, "Let's go have a drink at my place." That way, if you do end up having sex, she can tell herself, "I'm not a slut, one thing just led to another." That's how you pass her tests. When she says she has a boyfriend. "I have a boyfriend." What does it mean when she says that? Put simply, it means you showed too much interest in her too soon. When she tells you she has a boyfriend, that means you're faced with 5 possibilities. 1. Either she really doesn't have a boyfriend, and she simply doesn't feel attracted to you, and wants to reject you without hurting your feelings. 2. Or she does have a boyfriend, and she's loyal to him. 3. Or she does have a boyfriend, and she's loyal to him but she's open to having sex with you. 4. Or she does have a boyfriend, but she's open to giving you a chance of winning her away from him. 5. Or she doesn't have a boyfriend, but she just wants to look like she does. At this point, you either take on the challenge or take it on the chin. Don't